everybody. Hello, hello. We are live. It is Wednesday, and that means it is time for Wednesday's Q&A. Hello, hello, everyone. I'm Kathy Flynn. I am coming to you live from beautiful, sunny Long Island, New York. 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when I go live every Wednesday, almost every Wednesday. There's a couple Wednesdays that I've missed over the last few months. But I do go live from multiple locations using StreamYard. For those of you who are not familiar with StreamYard, sometimes your name might not come up if you don't give StreamYard permission to use your name. So, you might need to just tell me your name in the comments, or I'll try to look it up over here on my phone. So I am going live from the autism community, as well as the Autistic and Thriving Facebook group, the Autistic and Thriving Facebook page, and the Autistic and Thriving YouTube channel. So welcome, welcome. I have a couple of people already on and watching. Let me know where you're coming in from. Oh yeah, a nice little variety of people coming in from different locations. Let me know your name and where you're coming in from, and if you have specific questions for me. For those of you who do not know who I am, if I am new to you, my name is Kathy Flynn. Again, I am a special education teacher in New York City. I teach currently in District 75, which is special needs programming in the city. Out of our 1.1 million students, we service the most emergent or most behavioral, most sensory, mostly autistic students, but there are some who are high level who do not need to be in self-contained classrooms. But I personally work with the most emergent students in a 611 setting, which is the lowest ratio of teacher to students. It's a 611, meaning 6 students, 1 teacher, 1 paraprofessional. And I've been in a 611 for the last 5 years. Prior to that, I also worked one-on-one with students in early intervention settings, as well as preschool special ed. And I have also worked in different schools and in job settings as well with autistic students. So I have a lot of expertise. I have 13 years of expertise in the field of autism, and that's why I come to you live every Wednesday as an expert in the field, answering any questions any parents may have. If you're an autistic teen or adult and you have concerns or questions, you can also jump in and ask. I could hopefully give you some strategies as well. And if you are, coming in as a new teacher or therapist, which that doesn't usually apply to many of you, but if that's the case, then you can always, or you're watching this for some reason and you're going to be newly teaching a autism classroom, or working with students, with autistic students as a speech therapist, occupational therapist, physical therapist. I have loads and loads of experience. I've worked with all of those members of the team for more than a decade, and I now bring my expertise online every week on Wednesdays for a live Q&A. So that's my little spiel that I always have to say every week. Audio and visual working perfectly. Thank you. I have a feeling that's Trav. Trav, are you here with me right now? Let me see. Is Trav here? Who's here watching? Let me know who you are, because your name's not coming up. Let's see. Let me go to the groups. Autism community. Here we go. I am live now, and I've got. Whoops! There's me again. Because your name's not coming up. Let me mute myself over here. There's a lag. Oh, okay, Lori. Yay! I tagged a couple people today, so we have a few more people watching. Awesome, awesome. Hi, Lori. And Joe and Marissa, welcome to the live. Hi, nice to have you guys on. Trav is also on. Yay, thanks, Trav, for checking on my audio and visual. Thank you for giving me the feedback on that. I always, wonder, but I always make sure my microphone's loud enough and my camera's good and my lighting is good, I hope. And that I don't cut out of the live. All right, so I'm going to try to put my phone this way so I don't have to turn my head so much. All right, let's see. Marissa says, I'm going to show your comment, Marissa. Do you have any suggestions on how to give a haircut to a child with autism? And hi, Marissa. Thanks for coming on. You're one of my most loyal fans. You come on almost every single week when I'm here, so that's awesome. Okay, so Marissa wants to know, Marissa's watching, don't know where the I came from. That's so funny. Okay, no problem. Okay, let's see. So there are, I mean, your little guy is small, right, Marissa? I forgot how old your son is. Remind me again of his age. But if he's a little bit older, then he will definitely understand a social story a little bit better. I don't know exactly what his level is. But so we have, social stories out there, which are like a little story with some characters in it. And, they can be made up. Most teachers make these stories up. A lot of them are online for free. Some of them are actually in video format on YouTube. You can actually look up, a haircut social story and see what comes up. But, it'll explain what happens during a haircut. And so, this way you can read it over and over again and get your child really familiar with the haircut process and what happens and what, maybe what kind of smells he might experience or what kind of sounds he might experience, especially if you're going to buzz his hair. I don't know if he's even going to be able to deal with a buzzer. I'm not sure what you want to do with his hair for the summer. I don't even know if it is going to be summer where you are. I forgot where I think you're in the UK, right? I don't know if you guys have the same seasons as us. Oh, he's 5. He's only 5. Okay. He twists his hair and has it in knots. Oh boy. Yikes. You're going to have dreads on your hand soon. Oh no. Okay. So that you're in Martinsburg. Okay. Right. So if you want to keep it short during this, I don't know, you guys are going into summer. The buzzer, if he has never had a haircut, have you ever cut his hair? Has he ever gone to a barbershop? Have you tried to cut it at home? Let me know what you've already done with him. Sounds like you need to get him to a barbershop and get it professionally done at this point since he's 5. Oh boy, his hair is to his shoulders and he has baby dreadlocks. Oh boy. Okay. Yikes. If you don't want, dreads are fine. I have no problem with dreads. Other people do not have a problem with dreads, but you have to maintain them. And in order to get rid of dreads, you have to kind of like shave them off. So yeah, if you want to get rid of his dreads, he's going to need like a full buzz cut. Or you can go to someone that like takes care of dreaded hair. Obviously there are different salons for that. Specifically people like who take care of dreadlock hair could help you, or you could even look for some, some strategies online. I'm not an expert with dreadlocks, unfortunately, but, if you wanted to keep the dreads, there are ways to maintain it and continue growing the dreads longer and longer, if that's something you kind of want to keep doing. Or, you said it's just because he twisted, LOL, but if he continues to twist his hair, he's going to keep twisting it into dreads, and that's just going to be a continuous pattern for him. So you might want to like allow him to have dreadlock hair, like, as a style, just because that's what he's doing with his hair. If you can't redirect him, so you have 2 choices. You can either buzz his hair completely and start fresh, and then maybe try to redirect his hands to something like some kind of fidget toy, that he can play with as a redirection from twirling his hair. It sounds like he needs his hands, on textures or some kind of fidget. Lots of our kiddos need to fidget with something. So even people who are not autistic need to fidget, right? So there's all kinds of fidget toys out there, and that might be something that you might want to consider if you are considering, cutting off his dreads. And shaving it down, and then you can hopefully work on the behavior of him twisting his hair to something else, like a fidget, like I said. Or you can keep the dreads and learn to take care of them and let them just get longer and longer, and, tie them back in a ponytail or whatever. Those are your two choices. But back to the barbershop, if you're going to have someone shave it, he may get really sensitive to the noise of a buzzer, the vibration. He may love it and he may not love it. I'm not sure how sensory he is. So some kids get really freaked out. Other kids love it. Like, I have students in my class who love the massager. Our massager is broken now, but someone donated a massager to the class, a vibrating massager. And, the kids love to put it on their heads and on their shoulders and down their arms and, all of those wonderful things. Our massager burned out actually over during COVID because we left it plugged in and we never unplugged it. So we lost, I'm sorry guys, I lost my video feed here for a second for some reason. Let me try to get that back. Oh, there we go. I mean, you guys didn't lose it, but I lost it. I lost my ability to see myself. So anyway, some kids love the massager and other kids don't. So it's just a matter of his preference. And if you have like someone who has a buzzer at home, you could also prepare him that way by like letting him hold, like feel how it vibrates, listen to the sound of it. Those are, if he's freaked out, that might not be an option for you, for you to buzz his hair. They don't need to buzz it. They could probably just cut it with scissors, but even that, just let him listen to the sound of scissors so that he gets used to the sound. Go through a social story with him. I'm sure there's videos on YouTube. I'm not, or some kind of social story you could find free online. You could even create one yourself, write in Microsoft Word, pull some pictures in of a kid getting a haircut and say, this is what happens when you go and get a haircut. The, barber will make you sit in this tall chair and you'll have to wear a cape and, he'll have to cut your hair with scissors or a buzzer, whatever, whatever the situation is. So you can like tell the story and you can read the story over and over and over again so that he understands understands the expectations of the haircut. That's basically what I wanted to try to say with the social story. So those are your choices for that. Okay, let's see. Joe is here. Hi, Joe Davies. Is that stimming? What stimming, Marissa? Let me know what you mean by that question. Is that stimming? Oh, twisting his hair. Is twisting his hair stimming? Yes, that could be considered a stim for sure. Kids stim in all different ways. They stim with objects or they stim with their own body. So yeah, that would be considered a stim for sure. I would say. And Marissa's thanking me for my response. All right. You're welcome, Marissa. Let me know if you have any other questions. Okay. So this is from Joe. Joe Davies is here with us. Joe, let me know where you're coming in from. How do you support a teenager with friendship issues? Comments from friends are mean at times, say things like you are so autistic. Oh my God, that's so terrible. He doesn't want me to talk to school, but just meltdowns at home. Melts down at home. Kept him off school today. Self-esteem is dropping. Oh, that's terrible. Joe, I'm so sorry to hear that. And Joe is in the UK. Okay, so hi, Joe from the UK. Thanks for joining my live for the first time. I am glad you're here. So, this is a really difficult issue because, this is probably hopefully not going to be ongoing, but, teenagers and even adults will deal with all kinds of ridicule and bullying and eye staring and comments and, from the public, which is totally unwarranted and, horrible, obviously, but it's part of life. And so, we need to do two things here. One thing, first of all, if his friends are saying mean things and saying you're so autistic, then they're not really friends of his, right? I would say that those kids are not his true friends. And if they're sort of, very friendly with him and he's, is it his son or a daughter? Oh, yeah. If he, let me know how old he is also, because that'll help. And, like how highly functioning he is. And what his social inequity what do I want to say? His social difficulties are, let me know, because I can help him, with strategies. So basically, more or less, you want to make sure that, number one, if those friends are truly like kids that like, I would talk with them or even talk with their parents. They should not be talking to him that way. Maybe they don't even realize, that what they're saying is really cruel, or that he even really understands fully what they're saying. They may just be blowing it off, and, they need to be told, especially at a teenage age, they need to be told that that's not okay. It is not okay to put someone down. It's not okay to, say you're so autistic. I mean, that makes someone feel, like autism is a disease, or it's so bad and negative because it's used in a negative way when they say it like that. So that's not appropriate. If you feel like you can't talk to these children yourself, then maybe if he's willing to, he could talk to them and say, look, that bothers me when you talk like that with me. I don't know if he has the confidence to, stand up for himself and say those things just yet. But, he could build on that confidence. You could tell him, listen, you need to be strong. You need to tell people how you feel. You need to tell people that what they're saying is hurting you. And, that takes a lot of guts and a lot of confidence. So I'm not sure if he's right at that level yet. But your role is to really boost his confidence, to tell him how smart he is, to tell him that he is a good friend, to tell him that he, can talk to his friends and just be open and honest, as honest as he can be. Because anyone who's open and honest, will find the right people to surround them, and will, find the right people who will be their friend and will understand them. So that's what he needs. He needs to find friends that actually lift him up, not put him down, right? So I would encourage him to do that. I would encourage him to, look for people who can talk to him in a way that's appropriate, and, look for friends that, I have a bad mosquito bite on my wrist. I'm sorry, guys. It's really bothering me. Yeah, Marissa's saying it makes me sad, poor guy. I know, I'm very sad also. Joe said he's 14, high functioning. He has a high IQ, very few friends, tries to fit in, but then feels different. Oh, of course he does. So, he's trying to fit in as best he can. And that's all he can do, right? And what's going to happen is there's going to be kids, hopefully, may not be that many, but that's okay. All he really needs is one or two really good friends, that are willing to hang out with him and, do some of the things that he likes. What are some of his interests? Maybe you could talk to a couple of his teachers. Like, don't let him know that you're going to the school just yet, but you can go behind his back and, maybe speak with, I wouldn't necessarily go right to the principal, but like in this situation, he's 14, he's either in high school, right? Or he's in middle school, and there's guidance counselors for a reason. And the guidance counselors are amazing. They're a huge support. They're huge, they're there to help with bullying situations. They're there to help with friendship issues. They're there to help with navigating all of these emotions, right? And trying to figure things out. So, if he feels comfortable, he may be able to go to the guidance counselor, and he or she could be a support for him. I'm hoping that you guys have guidance counselors in your schools. I know we do in the US, in middle school and high school. Every student gets a guidance counselor. That counselor stays with them for the whole duration of their middle school and then the whole duration of their high school years, so that it's someone that's a go-to support for them all throughout, for everything that they need, academics, if they have an issue, they go to their guidance counselor. The guidance counselor either directs, guides them and gives them advice, or directs them to the people who are the right fit for that question. Whether it's tutoring they need, or, more therapy, or whatever the situation, right? So that I would start there, definitely, with that. And, you can talk to the guidance counselor specifically. This is my son. I don't think he's ever come to see you. However, I would love for you guys to have a conversation. These are the issues he's having with some friends, and the guidance counselor's job in my country, anyway, in the US, is that, they go to the team of teachers, and they say, basically, look, this is a situation that's happening. Can you keep an eye on this? Like that's happening to my son right now. He's only in 6th grade. He's only 12, but he's had some issues with bullying, and, he's typical, but regardless, whether they're typical or special needs, bullying happens, right? And, this one girl was targeting him, and it became apparent that he was being targeted. So I was like, okay, the guidance counselor needs to get involved now, and it's very important, because what happened, she was such a support for him. She talked with him all about it. And then she talked to the team of teachers that he has to make them aware of the situation. And then she also spoke with the assistant principal, who also spoke with my son. So usually the guidance counselor is like the first chain of command in these kinds of situations, and can be a huge support for this exact thing. So he had a key worker, but wouldn't speak to them, would just say he was fine. So maybe your key workers are similar to our guidance counselors, I'm wondering, maybe. I don't know. But if he's really nervous about speaking with her, then, or them, whoever they are, that's out of your control. You can only, you could say, this person is a support system for you, they could help you with the situation. He's trying not to bring attention to all this, because he doesn't probably want all the attention on him. He's probably trying to be in control of the situation and act like he can, manage it, even though he's struggling. You can see emotionally that he's struggling. So I would just keep having that conversation. Only talking about it helps. Talking about it always helps. Talking about it with us helps. Talking about it with someone at school can help too. You might feel embarrassed. Don't feel embarrassed. More kids go through this. Even kids that are typical get bullied, and it's okay to feel a little different. That's expected. People will like you even though you're different. You will find friends even though you feel a little different. Don't feel self-conscious of that. Those are all ways that you can boost his self-esteem, because, he needs to feel confident in himself. He needs to feel like he can express himself. He needs to know that he can, have the confidence to talk to people as comfortably as he can. The only way to build up that confidence and that self-esteem is to kind of give him that boost and say, listen, you're not the only one that, doesn't have a lot of friends, or maybe has friends who are not treating them the right way. You're not the only one. You're not alone. And so you could maybe find someone in your school that's also going through this. Maybe the guidance counselor could help you. Maybe someone has already come to them with a similar issue, and maybe you guys could become friends. Whatever. So there's lots of avenues that you could take. He has to be willing and comfortable, and you can say to him, listen, I can see you're super upset. So all I'm trying to do is help you. I'm just trying to help you. 14-year-olds can be super moody, even whether they're on the spectrum or not, right? They're getting hormonal at that age. I have an almost 14-year-old, so she's a girl, but probably worse, right? As far as hormones go. LOL, but they're very moody. They're very difficult to talk to at this age, autistic or not. So it's a tough road to navigate, and we just sort of have to kind of be there as when they need us, and not be there when they want us to be, when they need to be on their own and need to give them space. And it's a very delicate path that we're on as parents of teenagers, right? Trying to navigate it and make sure we're, being respectful of their space, but also helping them and supporting them and guiding them and boosting their self-esteem. So I wish you lots of luck, Joe, on that endeavor. And, there are social stories out there for, friends as well. You're saying he's pretty high functioning. But, just let him know he's not alone. That might help him not feel so isolated, that there are kids out there that are just like what he's going through, that are going through the similar things, so he has to learn how to navigate that and learn how to just be open and honest with what's going on with him. And people will like him for that. I mean, people will respect him and want to be his friend just for his honesty, and then they can learn more about autism even too, if he's willing to open up about that. But he doesn't have to. He doesn't even have to, open up about being autistic. That might be why he's super self-conscious, because maybe he's trying to hide his autism if he can. I'm not, and if it's not that obvious, if he's high functioning, it might not be that obvious that he's autistic. And, he might be trying to hide that. And that might be like this huge weight that he's carrying around with him. So it might just be better for him to just kind of be honest about what he's feeling with people around him. You're welcome, Joe. No problem. Okay, guys, I can only stay on a little bit longer because I have to get to my son's baseball game. So let me know if there's any other questions. So far, I only have, I did have a couple people from the other groups, but they left. So now everyone's watching from the autism community. I still have Marissa and Joe. I don't know if Trav is still here. It doesn't list who's here and who's not. But let me know if you ladies have, or Joe, if you're even still here. If you have any other questions, then let me know. I'm here to answer questions. I know that Lori, I was speaking with Lori earlier. I noticed a couple of people. Actually, sorry. I was going to answer a few. I almost forgot. I was going to answer a couple of things that people asked earlier today. So Lori Prior, I don't know how to say your last name. I'm sorry if I botched that. She asked, this was actually just today. Hello, beautiful people. Do any of you have any idea how to break the habit my grandson has of climbing everything in sight and chewing on wood? He has my windowsills and stairs banisters all gnawed up. I try redirecting and he goes right back to it. Okay. So this is tricky because it sounds like he obviously is a sensory seeker. That is completely obvious. That means he's seeking out sensory input to his body and to his mouth. So he's getting that from climbing. He loves the feeling of putting pressure on his different joints of his body. So that's what he gets with climbing. I would definitely get him to playground as often as possible. Not sure how old he is. Where he can appropriately climb. That people even put like some of those rock climbing nodules in a wall so that he can climb up the wall safely, or a little bit safer than, on the furniture, obviously. That's always an option. And then, it's tough when he's climbing because it's dangerous for him if he's going to fall. So try not to put things where he can climb up on top of something really tall. You need to anchor your furniture for safety, for sure. And you kind of need to obviously keep him in sight all the time just to keep him safe since he loves to climb. But you might want to try other things that he could do that help like wear out his muscles. So things that are similar to using the joints of the muscles, but in a different way would be like getting a little scooter. You could get one right on Amazon, honestly. Or maybe some of the toy stores might have scooters. I'm not sure. And he can lay on his belly on the scooter and like kind of pivot his way over to, a bucket of bean bags, or, you can make it a game. They do this all the time with OT and PT. And it's literally to build upper body strength for a kiddo. But those kiddos who need that sensory input to their upper body, what they get from climbing, right, they could do on a scooter. I mean, they're not getting the leg input, but they're getting the arm input by pushing against the floor to get, go further in the scooter, right? So that's a really good way to exercise his arms and give him that input that he's looking for. And you can make it a game. So the OTs, they take different colored bean bags and then they put the different colored bins, far away. And, you have to scooter up to a colored bean bag and then continue to scooter up to the right colored bin and sort the bean bags by color. It's just a simple game, but they have to keep going back and forth with all the different colored bean bags. And so it gives them a lot of really good input to their bodies. Some OTs do this just to give their kiddos input. And PTs, physical therapists, do this to help increase upper body strength for other kids who have weaker tone. So it's used for both reasons. So that would be a great way to solve some of the climbing issues. Even the feet, he can move his feet on, a step climber, let him climb the stairs, up and down. He can, if he's small, he can climb up and down the stairs with his hands and knees. I'm not sure how small he is. That would be a good thing that he can climb on. And, of course, if he's really small, stay behind him if he's not yet safe on the stairs. But, stairs would be good for his legs. If he is a big climber, I mean, he's just, sorry, this is lagging. Who is lagging? LOL. I'm here. Oh, Lori, are you here right now? Yay. And then let's see. Oh, I don't have the new comments. Oh, Marissa said it's lagging. Yeah, Lori's here right now. Great. Alex is too, she said. Okay, so he's small. So he's very small. So you want to give him the input to his body in appropriate ways. You want to tell him he can't, you want to redirect him completely from climbing furniture, because the more, obviously you're trying not to let him climb the furniture because it's not safe, but then you're kind of chasing him into getting him down. So it's like kind of after the fact. I would keep him at tabletop activities and keep him on the floor for floor time activities. And then also give him those climbing exercises so that he can work his body in an appropriate way to give him that sensory input that he's looking for. This is kind of called a sensory diet. So you're going to, strategically schedule out his day so you can give him these different exercises that will help work his body. If he can do the stairs on his own and you have stairs in your home, you can have him work on, climbing the stairs. That gives the input to his legs, very similar to the way climbing does, right? He wants to climb all the way up with his hands and knees, I'm assuming. So you're going to need to find, creative ways to, he's cross-eyed. He can't do the stairs. Okay. Well, we definitely need to work on, correcting his vision. Maybe he can get, some glasses, or whatever they do to correct cross-eyed, children. He's not doing the stairs. That's kind of dangerous that he's even climbing the furniture, because he could probably, fall pretty easily too. So he might not have pretty good balance. Obviously, he's 2. You're going to be there with him all the time because, at 2 years old, they're getting into everything, right? They're getting into things they're not supposed to. They need to kind of be watched like a hawk. Keep his day pretty busy and scheduled, so that you can kind of monitor him really carefully, and think about different ways to give him that input to his body for climbing. I mentioned a couple of strategies to you already. Now, as far as the eating the wood, so he's a sensory seeker to his body as well as to his mouth. Okay, I have a son who loves to chew. He doesn't chew on wood, but he loves to chew. He chews gum. He chews chewies, anything rubbery and hard. He chews, he loves to chew. So he doesn't have gum. He's chewing on his remote control. So I understand the need to chew, and some kids need to chew specific types of textures. So wood is tricky because it's hard to replicate. If he only likes the texture of wood, that would be hard to replicate in a chew toy. So they actually, I know it sounds bad to say chew toy because that sounds like something for a dog, but they actually do have jewelry or chew toys for children who need to chew, who have a sensory fixation, right, for their mouths. They're orally fixed. So I have a student right now who wears 2 of them around his neck, and they're called jewelry because you can put a lanyard through them. And so you can wear them as jewelry, but you can chew on it. So they call it jewelry. You can find some of these on Amazon. And it's right there around his neck so that he can chew it whenever he needs it. So we would lose these chewies all the time. We had them in the classroom. His mom had them at home. She always lost them. He loves the really hard rubbery ones. I'm not sure what texture would be good for your son because he, is looking for wood, which is really dangerous because it splinters. So that might be hard to replicate that exact texture, but you could try the rubber or soft rubbery, you know, chews. Surgery in 2 weeks for his eyes. The necklaces are awesome. They are on Amazon. Yes, you can find them on Amazon. They're great. And so what we did with this one student, because we kept losing the jewelry, I had like this light bulb moment back in one of the days we were remote, because so in school he was wearing his mask as often as he can be for the day. But he takes his mask down a lot. He doesn't always like to have it up over his nose, so he just kind of covers his mouth partially, but he loves to chew. So he's always chewing on his chews. He pulls the mask down. At home, he doesn't have the mask. So I noticed he was chomping away on one of these chews, and it was one that was not on a lanyard. And I was like, oh my goodness, he has that thing almost all the way in his mouth. It was one of those bracelet jewelry pieces that goes, right, stretchy, right for the bracelet, for the wrist. And he had the whole thing in his mouth. And I was like, yikes, that makes me a little nervous that he might, choke on it. Or that, the whole thing is in his mouth. And she's like, I know, but he really likes it like that. And I said, I think a good thing to do would be to put the chew on a lanyard. And this way it stays attached to a rope. And if, God forbid, it gets ever like too far into his mouth, you can always yank on the rope and pull it out, and that would be a safety measure for all of us. Also, he won't lose them. They're always on his body. We realized that when he was chewing on paper or a toy at the table, we would redirect him to the chew toy. We'd say, no, you don't chew on that, you chew on this. So it's called a replacement behavior. You don't chew on a toy, but you can chew on this specific type of toy. This is jewelry, this is for you, this is your chew. And so we would hand him the chew. But doing that, yes, redirects the behavior, and yes, replaces the behavior for chewing non-edible things that he's not supposed to chew. But it was always a rescue. It was always us monitoring him and giving him what he needs, instead of having him wear it around his neck, and then he decides when he wants it. Instead of looking for something on the table, so instead of your son going and finding wood, if he's wearing the jewelry around his neck, you redirect him directly to it. Look, it's right there. It's on your neck. It's on your body. There's your chew. And have him take his hand over hand, take his hand and pull the chew right up and into his mouth. And you could try all different chews and see which ones he likes. He might not like a really hard one. He might like a softer one that maybe even a stringy one. I'm sure they sell like silicone chews that have like strings. So it's similar to the stringiness of wood. And you'll have to, pick and choose and try that out. But that teaches him, he's only 2, but this is a really good habit to get into, that he regulates his chewing by saying, hey, wait, it's right here. It's right here around my neck. I can chew when I want to. I don't have to go find wood and destroy the house. I can chew my chew because I have it. I wear it, right? It's a piece of jewelry. So that teaches him to get it when he needs it and to regulate his own chewing for himself, instead of trying to find a chew. God, just like with my son, trying to find a pacifier for him. Actually, no, my son was the thumb sucker and then went to chewing his shirts and his, after the thumb was kind of knocked out of his mouth and we tried to say, no more thumb. He started chewing on everything. That was his replacement behavior. And then we said, okay, you know what? He's not outgrown this. We need to let him chew gum, but he's 12 now. So your 2-year-old, needs to have a replacement behavior. And so if you're willing to let him wear something, a nice long lanyard, something that he doesn't trip over, or, you worried about, him hurting himself with it. Obviously you're watching him like a hawk, I'm assuming you're his caregiver. Oh, right, Lori, this is your grandson, right? Not your son. I didn't mean to say son before. I'm pretty sure you said grandson originally. So this would be a good way to replace all of that chewing on the wood, for sure. You need to replace the behavior, and then you need to redirect him, and teach him, this is what I chew. I don't chew this, but I can chew this right here around my neck. Joe said, thanks. I'll pick up a couple types on Amazon, and I would think he would be cutting teeth at 2. Maybe that's why he's chewing. That is that is definitely a possibility. That's a very strong possibility, Marissa. But Lori just said he has all of his teeth. So, 2-year molars even, Joe, I'm wondering if it's also his 2-year molars. It could be. My son, again, never outgrew the chewing, so it's not necessarily always related to teething. It could just be that sensory need. Some kids need that input to their jaws, and that's why they're always looking to chew on whatever they can get their hands on, honestly. And so many kids are diagnosed with pica because not only are they chewing, they're also swallowing. Their brain thinks, oh, I'm chewing on something, maybe it's food. And sometimes they just end up swallowing an object that's not food. So, then they end up having a diagnosis of pica. Those children need to be watched very, very carefully because they could, obviously ingest something that's not healthy, or something that might be toxic, which is very, very dangerous. So we have students diagnosed with pica in the classroom. I've had a couple of students diagnosed with pica. They need to have a health para with them, a one-to-one health para, so there's eyes on them at all times, because it's dangerous. It's very dangerous. So, you want to try to take care of those issues now before he's in school, and see what you can do to help accommodate him, because he might not ever outgrow that chewing. At 2 years old, a lot of babies are still exploring. Toddlers are still exploring with their mouths, and he could outgrow it. I'm not saying he will definitely not outgrow it, because there's a possibility that he will. But there's also a possibility that he won't. So it's a good idea to have replacement strategies for the chewing, so that you don't have him chewing on wood and getting splinters in his mouth and obviously destroying the house. Okay, so let's see. Maybe I'm not sticking my finger. Oh, I'm not sticking my finger in that gator. LOL. Yeah, no, we don't want to put our fingers in their mouths, but honestly, if they are chewing on something that is not food, then you can panic. And I had to do it. I've got my finger bitten pretty badly, actually, trying to sweep a child's mouth to make sure that there's nothing in there that they're not supposed to have. I mean, I have a student right now who currently puts Velcro in his mouth. He has had a screw in his mouth. It's not good. So we need to be very, very mindful and very careful. And so now we're much more vigilant, of course, and not letting him be in any areas where he's not supervised, because then it's very dangerous for him. So just so you know, that can become a behavior that you definitely want to keep a watch out for. Oh my goodness, it's 5:45. I have to go, guys. So you're not checking for 2-year-old molars. All right. Well, okay. They could be coming in. So that's just something that he might be cutting teeth for that. So, but yeah, if you don't want to check, I don't blame you. All right, Joe and Marissa, thanks for coming in today to the live. I'm glad to have a couple people each week. Marissa said that Elric eats his hair. Oh my goodness. Yeah, LOL. Yeah, so some different kids have different things that they put in their mouths. It's definitely something that we want to keep an eye on, because their behaviors could change. They could start to put things in their mouth that are not safe. And of course, wood is not safe. And I don't know how safe hair is either. I mean, that can kind of get wrapped a little bit in the stomach, so that's not so safe as well. All right, guys, I need to run. Thank you. I hope that I gave you guys great advice and some good strategies. Let me know how it goes with things that you're trying. And I will be on again next week, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every Wednesday for my Q&A. And have a great week, guys. I will see you.